Sand play. It's my favorite shot. I love it because in this shot you shouldn't feel bad at all about getting into a bunker. A lot of people just dread getting into the trap. But I'm going to teach you how to play the sand rather than the ball. In the sand you don't hit the ball. You move sand. In this bunker you can see it's 30 feet long and 10 feet wide, and we've got a lot of square footage, and all I've got to do is learn how to play this sand up onto the green, and I'm going to show you how the ball just rides right on top of that sand. I'm going to go through some incredible principles about the sand shot, and you will understand the principles, and that's going to help you to become a much better sand player. So let's get going. The object of the sand shot is always to get the ball out of the trap first. What got the ball out? Was it the face? No, it was the bottom of the club. It was this flange that got down in there and splashed that sand up on the green. And that's what the sand game is all about. It's splashing sand up onto the green. And sand clubs are designed to do just that. They're different from normal clubs. Let me show you. In a normal club, we have a little narrow bottom, little narrow flange that rests flat on the ground, and it's made for digging. But in the sand, we have a club, and this is a little practice club, that's designed, all wedges are designed with real wide bottoms to them, called a flange. And when you set it down and you open it up just a little bit, is what we're going to do in sand, you can see that this big wide flange is on the bottom. And that pushes the sand out, kind of like a road grader on a highway. Let me show you how that works. As the club enters into the sand behind the ball, the energy going down pushes the sand ahead of the flange of the bottom of that club, and the ball is pushed out on the sand. So the face never contacts the ball. You see, we're in the sand moving business, moving that sand up onto the green. Now if I take my 9-iron and I swing it into the sand, watch what happens. It wants to dig, and you notice the ball didn't go anywhere. But with the sand shot, when I bring the sand club into the sand, it will slide. And so with the sand shot, you want to be sure that the bottom of the club always slides. Now the sand club has a digger on the front and it has a slider on the back. And so the key to playing the sand shot is to get the digger going first and then allow the back, the slider, to come along behind. So we want that pendulum motion that we've been working on all along with the short shots. And remember, the bottom of the club pushes it out. Now you've been in a swimming pool, and if you want to splash somebody, do you put your hand under the water, lift the water out and throw it? No. How do you splash someone? You turn and you go like this. You make a downward motion into the water, boom, and the water splashes up in their face. And so in the sand shot, we're looking for a feeling like you're going to splash the sand up onto the green. That type of a feeling. Let me take my basket, and I'm going to walk up on the green. I'm going to put this up here. And I'm going to move some sand towards that basket at certain speeds. Now if I close the face and get that digger going in first and swing, watch what happens. You notice how hard that sand went into the side of the basket and how far the ball rolled. But that's not the kind of shot we want for this. We want something that's going to get the sand up nice and high and drop it into the bucket, because that's what playing the sand shot's all about, getting that ball up in the air. So I've got to open the face up a little bit and use more of a splashing motion. Watch this. You notice the sand went up right into the bucket and the ball went right up by the hole. So using this flange is very important to splash that ball out. Imagine the ball being a giant sand particle that's just going to ride up to the green and onto the pin. So we want to move little islands of sand. And I'm going to make a little island of sand with some paint. It doesn't really matter what object you move up onto the green. You can move a frog, a toy frog, or a block, or a little Jeep by simply moving an island of sand. I'm going to play behind, not bad, or a block, because you see I'm moving the sand and the sand pushes the objects up on the green. Now let's think about my little red dot. The object is to move that red sand up into the basket, and if I do that, whatever's on top of that little island is going to follow the sand. So I'm going to put a ball there, and I'm going to clear that sand now and watch what happens. I'm aiming for the basket. I'm going to clear the sand, and you notice the ball came right on up, same distance as the basket. When you go out and practice, take little toys, take other objects, try the little paint trick. Feel yourself moving the sand up on the green, because the amount of sand that you throw up and the speed that it goes out is going to determine how the ball goes out of the trap and up on the green. The height of the sand is determined by how much you open the face and where you position it in your stance. And we're going to start talking about that right now. One more principle before we get into grip and posture and alignment. You've got little stickers in your packet that are designed to put on the face of your sand wedge, just like this. It's the same one we use for chipping. And what it does is it shows you the direction that the flange is pointing and the face. And this is an important principle to understand, because the sand will always fly the direction that the face is pointing. Now I see this all the time. Players know that they're supposed to open the face up, and then they address the ball, and then they try to hit the ball towards the hole, and the ball always goes out to the right and short. The reason for that is they open the face, but the face is pointing to the right, and that's the direction the sand's going to go, and the ball rides on the sand. So that's why placing your hands on the club and getting the right setup is so critical to the sand shot. You need a good foundation to play your sand shot off of. So how you set up is important. We want to set up in an athletic position so that we can make that nice pendulum motion back and through, letting that club slide right underneath the ball. And it's important because the face of the club has got to be pointing towards the target when it goes under the ball. Remember, the ball's going to fly to the right if the face is open. So how do we set up our posture to get into that position? You need to have your back up nice and straight. Sit down, take the tension into your thighs, and the ball is positioned right underneath our logo, so that as the club enters the sand, it's going to go under the ball, and the sand's going to carry the ball right up onto the green. And you're saying, but Wally, if you swing at it and the bottom of the arc goes down and catches the ball, this is what's going to happen. You're going to just pick the ball out, but that's not a sand shot. That's way over the green. Well, that's why when you take your stance, you have to make yourself shorter. You have to dig down into the sand. Now, when I first took my little son Scott out to play golf, his first sand shot, he walked into the bunker and he saw the ball and he did this. He buried his feet because he knew, he'd seen it on television enough that he was supposed to bury his feet in the sand when he got in. But most amateurs don't understand why you bury your feet. It's because you want to lower your center of gravity down so that when you do make your swing, the club will go into the sand behind the ball. Remember, we're taking that little swath of sand out. So when the ball's up nice and high on the sand flat, you don't have to dig your feet way down. Just get it enough so that the center, the bottom of my arc, is going to go down under the ball, and that's the key to the sand shot. Now if I dig way down, which I see people do in Pro-Ams, and then they swing, where's the club going to go? It's got to go way back there. It goes like this. I can see it coming every time. So remember, when you take your stand, the only time that you would take a stance way down in the sand with your feet is if the bottom of the ball is way down under the sand. Now I've got to dig my feet down deeper so the bottom of my arc goes down underneath to pop that ball out. So don't dig your feet and get them too far down. And people always ask me, well, Wally, I have a real hard time knowing how hard to swing at the ball. And you can really overdo it in the trap. You don't have to swing hard to move it out of the bunker. So let's talk about just how we swing our arms to feel the correct distance. I use this tip on tour for the 12 years that I played to deal with the distance that I swing my arms to get the ball onto the green. Feel like you're swinging a coconut, and you're going to use the amount of arm swing and body motion to get it to where you want the ball to land. So right here, Phil. And of course this helps you to take your stance too. In a position you can see he's open with his body and the arms swing back. And for the short one, he's not making a lot of body movement. But as we go to a longer one, that way, now you need to swing your arms back a little bit farther and use those legs a little bit more. Excellent, Phil. See, that would have been right up by the hole. Now let's do it one more time. Swing the arms. Beautiful. And you can do this yourself by taking a melon or a coconut out and passing it with a friend to feel the distance that you need to swing your arms to get the sand shot up to the pin every time. There's a lot of teaching out on the market that teaches to manipulate the club to hit a sand shot, like, cut the ball out of the sand and all of this manipulation. And if you start focusing in on your hands and your backswing, you're really not going to be able to make that nice pendulum swing. How do you know that your hands are in the right position when you make your swings? How do you know you're making that pendulum and that the face is going to remain open at impact to the ball and the face is going to be square? You've got the tool to do that, the hanger. We're going to put it on the club just like we did with the pitch shot, square, but now in the sand shot we open the face to the desired distance we want to go. So for this shot I'm going to open it up pretty good. Then I lay the hanger down so you can see now when I put my hands on it, my hands are going to be, remember that step? Set the face. Now you set your hanger down. And when you put the hanger down, it sets your hands down. So when you make your swing back, your hands will come up and the hook will hit your arm and it puts your shaft in the right position. It puts that wrist cock, so then all you do is swing down and through under the ball. Take your swath of sand. Here we go. Open the face. Set the hanger, set your hands, open my body so the face is square, and then I simply swing through the ball. Oh, almost went in. And that's what this will do for you. Now, if you've got a little longer shot to play, then you don't open the face as much. A little bit, set the hanger. And then when you swing, the club's going to go back a little longer and through, and it'll send the ball a little bit farther. Always remember when you work with the hanger to keep your shoulders nice and relaxed and don't try to manipulate the club. When you swing back, just let it flow up there And you'll know you're doing it correctly because of it tapping you on the arm. On the way down, be sure you don't force it to the ball. Let the hands just fall. Just like in the pitch shot, we want to feel that weight of the club head just falling down and finding the sand under the ball. And when you practice with this, your sand game is really going to improve. I guarantee it. The buried lie. I think it's the easiest sand shot. And you will too if you watch how I show you how to get out of it. Now you've got to be real creative on this one. Stay with me, because I'm going to build a little miniature railroad track out of my two colored boards. Right like that. And then I've got a railroad spike that I'm going to stick right behind this back one. And with this shot, when you get in to a buried lie, you want to get your stance up in front of the ball. You want to close the face. You don't want it open. And you want to make this kind of a motion. All your weight's to the left. And you want to go up and down as if you're driving a stake. Down. Just like that. If I was driving that underneath, it's an up and down motion, not through. Because the energy of the club going down behind the ball will pop. It'll rebound and it'll knock the ball right up on the green. Imagine you have a stake right behind your ball when you're playing this shot. Close the face, play it back behind your feet, up and down right behind the ball with no follow through. Now watch how easy it is and how easy I swing, because we're using energy, not force, for this shot. Face closed, I'm up in front, close the face, rehearse. Rehearse, oh, about 2 inches behind the ball, real easy swing. It almost went in, didn't it? Now this ball will roll quite a bit when it comes out because there's no spin on the ball, so you want to compensate for that. But you notice how easy I swung through that ball. Work with this little drill and it's going to really improve your sand game, especially with that buried lie. I'm going to cover the uphill and the downhill slopes, how you play them out of the bunker. Let's think about our circular motion with the club. I'm going to adjust up on this slope and stand in just a normal position, swing the ball down towards the golf ball, and you can see it's hitting right out in front of it. And that's what's going to happen with your swing on this type of shot. You're probably going to come right into the back if you don't make some adjustments. Always tilt your shoulders the angle of the sand. Keep them parallel with the sand angle. From this position, now if I swing the ball, I'm going to come in to the back of the ball and I'll take that perfect little swath of sand. Another thing, when you're playing lies, with your lower body, resist gravity. Gravity's pulling me here, so what I do is I set my lower body into the slope. And then I adjust my shoulders so that they stay parallel to the slope. And then I swing up the slope. When the ball is up above your feet, you want to play it up a little bit farther forward. And always rehearse on these shots. Feel that motion of the club head coming through and taking that little swath of sand right under the ball. Now I'm going to swing right up the slope, nice and easy. Drop it on the green and down to the hole. Now let's go in the back of the trap and let's cover that shot. From here, the ball's going to do just the opposite. If I stand up with my normal stance and I swing the ball, where's it going to hit? It's going to hit behind. So what have I got to do with my shoulders to get it down to where it comes in a little bit behind the ball? I've got to lower my left shoulder, that angle, and then I get right to the ball. So let's do that shot. And this is an easy shot if you know how to do it. So instead of here where I'm hitting behind, as I set into this ball, first of all, I'm going to resist gravity. Gravity's pulling me this way, so I move my weight into the slope, and then I tilt this shoulder down and I rehearse I rehearse. Now the club's going to come right up the slope, and it's going to enter in and take the normal little swath of sand. On this shot also, you want to open the face a little bit more than normal and follow the slope. Remember, when you play these shots, it's a luxury just to get up on the green. I like the right-hand drill. Play some shots with just the right hand. And this teaches the wrist cock, teaches gravity to come down, to go under the ball. You just swing up and down. And remember, when you're practicing with these sand shots, don't get in a rush and don't be so concerned with where the ball goes. Get a feel for the shot and the drill and work with them. Boy, what a duplication. Now, left hand and right hand thumb and forefinger drill. Take your normal grip, just with your thumb and forefinger on the right hand, and rehearse. This one teaches the same thing, but in a little different feeling. Now I've added the left hand to it. So pace it, teaches letting that gravity, the club fall. Set up in your normal position, left hand, right thumb and forefinger up, and let it just fall. You'll be surprised how much bite the ball has on like that, because you're using that gravity and the falling of the club to splash the ball out. And the last one is the 3-ball drill. This one's a real challenge. You line 3 balls up, and the object here is to develop acceleration through underneath the balls. Now the object is to get them all onto the green. So I'm going to start under the first one and try to knock them all on the green. Here we go. Almost. You know, if you can get 2 out with that drill, you sure should be able to get 1. Make your practice profitable, try these drills out, and you're going to see an improvement in your sand game.